to see it with friends. Hey Baxter. All right, so let's get back to the members mailbag. Brucifer, Discovery is ending after the 5th season. How do you guys feel about that? I think that's amazing. If they get to do it, if they get to finish somewhat of a story, like I don't want it to just be cut off.
The thing about Discovery, I've liked it thus far, but it's always felt like the end of each season could have just been the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only. There's other knocks against it, and I wouldn't necessarily consider that a knock. I mean, the last season was great. It had like a real Close Encounters vibe to it, with learning how to communicate with a. It wasn't blow up spacey explosion BS. That was normally synonymous with Discovery. So I think what they're doing is they're going to go in a different direction. Here's my theory, kids. If you guys want to listen to a little Star Trek theory real fast before we lose all our viewers. Okay, here's what I think. We've already been introduced in the Star Trek, The Next Generation, to at least 2 of the legacy characters' children, meaning the child between Dr. Beverly Crusher and Captain Picard, and Geordi LaForge's daughter, which there's 2, I believe. Okay, they're both in Starfleet. Yeah,
the next generation.
Oh yes. So how are we not going to get some kind of continuation?
Generation.
Oh yeah, that connects the lineage of the next generation. So we're going to get the next. Yes, we're going to get the next generation, which is going to be freaking amazing, and I think it's going to happen. We're going to get introduced. Well, we already know that there's other characters that are legacy characters. We might get Tom Paris's kid, or Tom Paris and B'Elanna's kid, which would be freaking awesome because you'd get Klingon on the show, or at least a partial Klingon. I imagine we'll probably get like a Ezri and Dr. Bashir. I sort of got, if we get Alexander Siddig to come back for just a second as Dr. Bashir, I'm telling you, it would just make this old Star Trek fan's heart just leap for joy. Oh, and then behind the scenes stuff I was watching about Star Trek Picard right now, they brought back Michael Okuda. Michael Okuda, he wrote the book literally on Star Trek, like the Star Trek Encyclopedia, all that cool stuff. So this new season of Star Trek, I'm like completely marking out on. Like I ended up getting up at like 3:00 in the morning, so I was like, oh geez. And then I watched it, and then I watched a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff, and I passed out. But like, dude, it was so cool to learn about all the classic stuff that they brought back, and then hearing those older guys that were on those old shows just like completely fall in love with the new process of making the show. So I mean, it's such a nice thing, and to hear the actors that are 70 years old and older, all that main cast is all 70. To be so happy to just be together again, to be acting, doing what they love, being with people who they love, 20 years later. I mean, they meet up at conventions and stuff, but it's seldom that they're all together at the same time. So it's just, man, sorry. I'll stop marking out about Star Trek, guys.
No, that's great. That's great.
I just feel like there's a lot of good stuff going on.
Is. Give a clap for Brian. People are talking about Trek in 2023.
And I think this is a little bit better than what we had in the 90s, man.
He's been sitting there waiting. When is Trek? When are we getting more Trek talk?
Don't knock Janeway.
Good stuff to talk about. Oh, talk about Janeway, dude. Prodigy. Star Trek Prodigy is a really great show. And I guarantee you we're going to get some of those characters too in live action. So just be ready, because we're going to get it like kind of what they're doing with the Avengers. We're going to get the young Avengers. They're doing the same thing with Star Trek right now, where it's just exactly the same. And maybe one of these days we'll get a movie where it's a culmination of everything, and it's just this big old double drop kick love note to the fans, and we can all die happy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that was great. That was a beautiful moment. I'm clipping that out, Brian. I'm clipping out for the channel.
There you go.
That's great.
Well, they don't need to do that for the next generation. They're doing a good handoff.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. They're building up the characters to do it, and honestly, they make Gates McFadden look great in that initial scene.
Ask this man.
Every April 5th, or sorry, April 6th, I do the First Contact watch party. That's It's a tradition of them on my channel. I'd be more than happy to do it at a time where we can all sit back and watch it. This show, it really hammers home the First Contact stuff. Like I was said over on the Four Nerds, it's how this show's going. It's like the movie that we never got to see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as a fan, I'm really excited about that.
You didn't like Generations?
Oh, no, I love those movies.
Yeah.
I got First Contact, man. Generations.
Oh yeah, I like First Contact.
But even I saw Insurrection in the theaters. I skipped out on Nemesis. I watched it later on, but yeah, I wasn't very happy with how they ended all that stuff.
Was Nemesis the one with Tom Hardy as Picard's kid?
Yeah, that was one of Tom Hardy's early movies.
Awesome.
I wouldn't mind him coming back
Hardly.
either as like a clone of some sort, but because the Maramians made more than one.